for AC repairs and a $49. So call and send them to
What's happening, everybody? How we doing? Good to see everybody here today. Thanks for being with the Bricklayers. Good afternoon. Taco Tuesday. Sounds good.
React for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Opens at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we roll today. Big show today, June 24th, Tuesday. Noon straight up Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern. I love the 3 o'clock Eastern stuff too, because we got listeners in New Jersey, Fort Lauderdale, Toronto. I get a chance to see them in our live chat on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. We got our own YouTube channel to watch the show and get in there and chat and help with the show and do a lot, because we are in the dead zone and we're going to get you through this. And this week, probably Thursday, but most likely Friday, we kick off our summer series on the top and most influential Raiders draft picks of all time. Man, I'd love to put Ashton Genty on that list, but he hasn't played a game yet. So I can't put him on that list, but it'll be the greatest of the greatest draft picks in Raiders history. Remember, Lance Allworth was a Raiders draft pick. Mel Renfro, Hall of Famer, was a Raider draft pick. Willie Brown is not in this conversation. He was not a Raider draft pick. Rich Gannon is not in this conversation, nor is Jerry Rice. So we weeded out a lot of guys because they weren't drafted by the Raiders. And we're going to try to come up with our top 10, or what we believe is the top 10 most important draft picks in Raider history. All subjective, not associated with the team. This is a summer series that Bobby and I put together to kind of get us through the summer and then get us ready for training camp. And that's what we're doing here, because we can put up our feet and we can mail it in, man. This is a town where a lot of people mail in stuff, man. We could mail it in beautifully, man. I could do the top 10 sports movies right now. Top 10 start off at Hoosiers, and I could start going down in Major League and do that. And I guess people would like it, man. They'd like to hear that. But I always have a clock ticking in my head that we got to talk sports. There's plenty of sports to talk about. We got to dive into the NFL for a few more stories. And we got to kind of dig up non-controversial stories with the Raiders. Again, we're not here to do injuries. How's Christian Wilkins is wearing a boot in a picture of the M. None of my business. It's our business because getting paid a lot of money, but the doctors and the trainers know if he's ready to go, if it's precautionary, if there's a bigger issue or not, and they will let me know because a lot of people are guessing right now. That's a big topic. Another big topic is Pete Carroll's on a bunch of podcasts, which I love. It gives us some pretty good sound. That's coming up here. A lot of these players are having camps. Ashton Genty, Max Crosby, right? Brock Bowers had his camp. They're trying to keep busy this summer and help kids out. And we love to do that. We love to do that, which would be cool to help out any of the players or the organization when it comes to that. The Oklahoma City Thunder are having their parade right now. There are not a lot of people there. I don't understand that. But, my kid went to Oklahoma, college there. There's not a lot of people on the parade route, but they're in the building now and they're all drinking and on the microphone, so we'll get to that. I got a heavy NBA flavor today. Ryan Hollins will join us at the bottom of the hour, 10-year vet in the NBA on NBA free agency, wrapping up Oklahoma City's championship. He'll join us. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, the franchise, one of the most influential sports talk hosts in my life. Hacksaw is going to join us at the top of 1 o'clock Pacific to talk about the Dodgers and the Padres and NFL offseason and all that. My old buddy from KMBR, Cyrus Satzes, who's got a nice podcast with the Dubs, the Warriors, and he covers the NBA. Cyrus is a longtime friend from back when I lived in the Bay Area and was doing radio up there, so we're going to give him an opportunity to come in here and tell us what he thinks. And then Tim Neverett. I had a conversation last night with the voice of the Dodgers. It's worth hearing. And I did that last night as they had an off day, and I'm going to try to get that here. Tim Neverett's son, Matt Neverett's the broadcaster for the Aviators and a good kid here in town doing a lot, and we'll probably get to that because if I do an interview and I host it, I could replay it because it's me. So we'll do that a little bit later on and then see what happens here with you as the number as we open up is 702-365-9200. Quick story. I got one of my best friends in town. He's staying with me for 5 days. Rhodey, guy works at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and he's picking up some work at the Sphere as they're loading out Kenny Chesney and loading in Backstreet Boys. And the Fillmore's dark. They're doing a really big restoration of the Fillmore, one of my favorite concert venues in the world, in the absolute world. So he's in my backyard brick last night after the show at 10 o'clock at night. No Modelo's, no Tito's, just sitting back, no cigars, just chilling with my friend. And he goes, what game should I come to this year? And I said, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I want to come to a Raider game this year. What game should I come to? And I had to sit there and tell one of my best friends how difficult it is to get a Raider ticket. And he kind of got it, but he didn't get it until we had a come to Jesus moment last night. He was like a brother to me. So any game he wants to go to, he can have my tickets. And he's really Raider friendly, real Raider guy, loves it. I said, well, pick whatever game you want, but don't pick the Cowboys and don't pick the home opener. And he goes, yeah, I mean, come on. I got to be in my seats with the wife for the home opener. And I kind of want those Cowboy tickets because I think that's going to be a pretty big game. And I said, pick any other game you want. So I opened up the schedule. And I hadn't looked at the schedule in about a month. I know it off the top of my head, but I don't know the dates exactly. And I went through the schedule with them. And my buddy, Tony Cambo, at the end of our conversation said, wow, the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. I go, what'd you say? He goes, yeah, that schedule. He goes, we're going to make the playoffs. I said, man, from your mouth to the sports god in the sky. And, we went through the games. Rich Eisen does that. He comes on. His show's on before this one. They'll get a fan to go through all the games. And I started looking at the schedule deeper because I'd like to go to the New England game and or the Washington game, but anchoring the pre- and post-game show, I typically don't travel week one. They give me the opportunity to go on a game or two. I usually wait till mid-season or later in the season. But that Washington game, because that's a dump. That stadium is a dump. But I like to go to D.C. I like to see the monuments. I got a buddy who works on Capitol Hill, kind of walk around D.C. I like the corridor of monuments and everything there in D.C., and the weather's going to be pretty good. That you would think. That's going to be Sunday, September 21st. So we were talking about that, but I wanted to mention here in the monologue, brought to you by PTs. We got a lot of new things to tell you about PTs. Do you know the Strat has the LA Comedy Club, which we're really excited about this? And all the taverns are giving away a pair of tickets to a show of their choice at the Strat LA Comedy Club. Plus, 5 of those winners will receive a staycation at the Strat, including 2 nights and $100 food and beverage credit. Isn't it amazing how Vegas is changing? And this is our partner. Well done. Strat's great. If you haven't been there in a while, you have no idea how great it looks. Go on in there, from the rooms to the pool to the restaurants. Nice job. Top of the world at the top. You can take the kids on the ride. So I looked at the home schedule and I said, Charger game the 15th, coming off New England. And I don't pick games, so don't wait for me to go win, loss. I don't do that. I've never done that. That'll never happen. But I started looking at the game and I said, man, that Charger game's big. Oh, that's a big one. That's 7 o'clock prime time on ESPN, Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll. You don't think they're juicing up that game? They want that game as the Harbaugh-Pete Carroll rivalry game. I said that game, and I'm going to rank the games, the home games coming up, in order of most important, because they're all important. I mean, the Tennessee game matters just as much as the Kansas City game. It's a win or a loss. But our first home game is the Chargers on the 15th, and I love that game. Then we play the Bears on the 28th. That might be the toughest ticket other than our Monday night games. There's a lot of Bears fans on the West Coast. There's a lot of Midwest people in Arizona. Little secret. A lot of Chicago, Illinois people live in Arizona, even more so than Florida. They'll drive here. And then we get Tennessee at home on October 12th. Better win that one. That's a Fox game. Again, Brady might already own it. He won't be on that game. Maybe get a little Greg Olsen action. And then the bye week comes week 8. Love the bye week. The bye week is basically Halloween. So the Halloween game is going to be Sunday, October 2nd, after Halloween when Jacksonville's in town. So we get 2 games back to back that aren't great games. I mean, the rest of the country will not give a blank about Tennessee and Jacksonville at home. We got to win both those games. Those are like must-win games. You get Tennessee and Jacksonville back-to-back before, really, when November starts off. The season starts off in September. By November 2nd, the evening of November 2nd, we will have the Jacksonville game and the Tennessee game and the Bear game in the bank. Okay? We got to win all 3 of those games. Okay, so don't checkmate me on these games and do the addition behind my back. I'm just telling you, we get 3 games. And for those who are saying the Chargers are a winnable game, yeah, all the games are winnable. Chargers are better than the Raiders on paper. In every power ranking in the country, from every podcaster to national superstar, has the Chargers ahead of the Raiders. I don't. I'm not one of these guys who fall in love with the Chargers roster, but it is better. And they got a good running back or 2, and their offensive line is better than the Raiders, and their quarterback is better than the Raiders and Herbert. But Geno can beat them. Geno can beat Herbert. Montana lost, and great. And I'm not saying Herbert's Montana, but Herbert's elite. And get over yourself if you can't handle that. Find another show. He's elite. He's a problem for us. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Bo Nix are problems for us for a long time. So we brought Geno in because Geno can nullify them. Or 2 out of 3. Geno can beat these guys. He's been able to beat them. Then we're at Denver. They gave us a Thursday night, November 6th game after a home game in Jacksonville. I'm fine with that. We're going to have to play a Thursday night game on the road. I'd rather it be in Denver before a snowstorm after Jacksonville. And then the Monday, the 17th game will be Dallas. As I've been predicting, this is the biggest game ever played, a football game ever played in Las Vegas. Sorry, Sam Boyd. Sorry, college football. There will never be a game. There has not been a bigger game than this. Cowboys and their fans, America's team coming in to take on the greatness of the Raiders. It's huge. They got Brian Schottenheimer at coach. We got Pete Carroll. We got to win that game. We got to win that game, but Dallas could be really good this year. 2 years ago, I picked them to win the Super Bowl. They were 12-4. They look good. Then we get Cleveland at home, November 23rd. That's F1 weekend. Look at the home games. Cleveland, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Chicago. We got to win 4 out of 4 of those games or 3 out of 4. We all agree on that? Let me repeat that. Chicago, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Cleveland, all before December. We got to win 4 of those 4 games or 3 out of 4. Then you throw in a win at New England. You throw in a win at Indianapolis. You got something going. We're at the Chargers on November 30th. We can't win in that building. I don't know why. Gruden hated it. Gruden hated that building. We've won, 1-6 lifetime at SoFi with the Rams and Chargers? It's supposed to be a home game for us. What the hell are we messing around and losing games in SoFi for? We get Denver at home December 7th. At Philly, you couldn't helicopter me into that dump. I mean, the team's going to go and they're going to win, hopefully. But you won't. If you're asking me to go to Philly in December, I'll check out on that one. You'll hear me on the radio. At Houston, man, Houston's always in the playoffs. Oh, and then we get the Giants, the team of my youth, the Giants, in a flex game. Ooh, it's a flex game to be determined. So Giants, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Chicago. So to wrap up the story, I told my buddy Tony, pick any of those games. We're going to win those games. So pick any one. Starting with Chicago, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Cleveland, and the Giants. I said, you pick any one of those games because we're going to win them. And I just found you 5 wins at home. That's the season. We got to win these home games against these teams. Now, I'm not going to say they're inferior because we lost 10 in a row last year. What do you think they're saying about us? But we're much better, as you all know that. We got 5 games at home that we got to win 4 out of 5. There's always a fluke loss. A Hunter Renfrow fumble or something stupid happens in a game and we lose it. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Pete Carroll. But, wow. And then the road games, the road schedule, I would argue, is better than our home schedule. I would argue that. I mean, I'm happy that we're playing at home. But the road schedule at New England, at Washington, Indy, Kansas City, Denver, the Chargers, at Philadelphia, at Houston. That's not easy. That's not easy. So then you got to get some help. You got to get some help in those games. So I just wanted to share with you that I'm very bullish today on the home schedule. I want to play a last place schedule when we can, and we have to feast on a last place schedule because the Raiders are not going to be in last place much longer with Pete Carroll. Tom Brady, minority owner Pete Carroll, you lost your mind if you think this team's going to be playing a last place schedule. This is it. We have to feast on a last place schedule. We have to relish in the fact that we are playing cold weather teams in warm weather. New England at Washington are cold weather games. At Kansas City, cold weather. We get them in Indian summer in the fall. So weather won't be an issue here. We have one game that's brutal when it comes to scheduling and weather. It's at Philadelphia. That's it. And, put on your big boy pants and your gloves and get out there and put up a fight with Philadelphia. I love this schedule. I do. I want to see people at Allegiant Stadium. I want to see that building blacked out. I have been in deep, deep conversations with the Black Hole as this has got to be the year, the turn year, where the Raider Nation takes over their stadium. There's always been a built-in excuse. I'm not a travel agent. I'm not the ticket police. We understand why there's been opposing fans there, twofold. Number one, the Raiders haven't played well. And number two, the other team wants to get in desperately because their team's playing there for the first time. That has to end this year. That has to end, period. You have to hold your tickets for Raider fans. If you make $200 less on this, you can live with it. If you're a season ticket holder, I know what you're paying. I'm a season ticket holder. You can sell your tickets to a Raider fan. So that's the monologue. Number 702-365-9200. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that we have to win these easier? They're never easy. Don't want Pete hearing me say that. Some of the games, Chicago, Jacksonville, the Giants, Tennessee, Cleveland, we have to win. Can't mess around in these games. I don't need 24-23, a minute 18 to go, and we don't have the ball. I need Genty closing out these games at home. I need Raider Nation on their feet in the crowd, loud on third down, because the schedule, I think, fits pretty nicely. So that's what I want to say there as we continue on and get rolling here. 702-365-9200 as we continue. I did a podcast today. I got this show. I got a show a little bit later on tonight. We're giving away a $50 Grimaldi gift card today and tomorrow, or today and Friday, but you have to have a good phone call. We're not they stopped me in the hall. JT, not giving away enough stuff. I'm not the giveaway host. I'm not here to give balloons and T-shirts out. I'm here to talk sports with fans that have fire in their belly, and they're excited like I am every day. And I wait around all day to hear some people do it. So surprise me today and get out of your summer slumber as we are rolling. I thought this piece of sound by Adam Silver, I wanted to get this in the monologue, on expansion in the NBA is big, because I believe we're going to get an NBA team. We got a lot of NBA talk coming today. And I think that LeBron James is going to be part owner of the team, just like Tom Brady. He's got a big chunk of the team, Tom Brady. 10% is a lot of zeros. Yeah. LeBron James will have the same amount, if not more. I think that LeBron will own the Las Vegas team with maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of the Bus family could get out of LA and come to Vegas. They just got a boatload of cash. They don't own the Lakers anymore. The Dodgers do. You never know. A lot of rumors running around. But Adam Silver on expansion, which should be coming to Sin City.
It's more complicated, I think, sometimes than people realize, because I think some people look at expansion that you're printing money, but it's not, because it's like if you own something, you're selling an interest in it. If you're one of the 30 owners in the NBA and just say you expand by 2 teams, it's not that different than selling a portion of your team to someone else.
Okay.
Having said that, there's so many great markets out there that love the NBA. It's something we're definitely going to look at. It's interesting. I mean, we had a team in Seattle before. It's such an incredible market. Many of my years at the NBA were spent when we still had a team in Seattle. There's no doubt about the love for basketball there. And Vegas, you just mentioned, where we have our summer league. I feel like we have a team there. Yeah. Because, the 2 weeks or so that summer league goes, it literally, like, it consumes the whole basketball world. Those games, when we first started playing the summer league there, those games were hardly even on television. Yeah. Now, Sports Center's operating out of Las Vegas, studio shows there. It's like I've never been to the baseball winter meetings, but that's what it feels like. Yeah. All the general managers are there. Yeah. Teams are doing deals. Yep. Guys who weren't drafted are there. The draft picks are there. They're selling out in the arena. So, I feel like we already have a huge presence in Las Vegas.
That's a big soundbite. That was at Fanatics Fest in New York. That's a big deal for us here. Really big deal. The NBA and how quick it's going to come here. And it's going to have to come here via expansion. The location of the arena and all that's been debated forever. After spending a little staycation at the Fountain Blue, Bobby, I'm a little bit bullish on an NBA arena down by Resorts World Fountain Blue because of the size of the dirt there and the Boring Company and Elon going underground. I think that's a good spot, better than putting it out by the Silverton maybe, or other spots that people talk about, the Tropicana site being used for baseball. So, whatever's going to happen there, I wanted to get that soundbite in, because NBA Summer League and what the NBA has done. If you're watching the parade today in Oklahoma City and you watched Indiana versus Oklahoma City, you realize that Vegas is set. And Caitlin Clark, who just came into town, and the Aces and the success that Mark's had with the Aces, the NBA's coming. The NBA's coming. Will it be a transient NBA town? Yeah, we're a tourist town. Stop. Get over it. We're a tourist town. We're Las Vegas, man. Frank Sinatra didn't live here. He came here and performed here, took over the town with the Rat Pack, and then went back to Palm Desert and back to New York. Okay? We are here to get the locals to have some sports, but to have a destination for tourists around the world to see sports and entertainment. That's it. Football is a little bit different because there's only 8 or 9 Raider home games and hopefully playoff games. But when it comes to the NBA, you're going to have a lot of Laker fans and other fans come in here, because there's going to be the same thing. Sacramento King fans are going to come in here and buy 5,000 seats right out of the gate to see their team play. But I'm bullish on the NBA here, one of the summertime topics that we'll put out today. So Ryan Hollins at the bottom of the hour. Hacksaw, who's always fun. He'll talk sports with the best of them. My buddy Cyrus Sanchez, who's got a Warriors podcast, and he's going to wrap up the NBA. I threw out the NFL home schedule, crickets. So I'm done. I gave you 20 minutes on the Raiders schedule. We'll jump into the NBA. Hopefully we keep an audience here because that's what we're doing. We're talking sports. We're still wrapping up the NBA finals. There's a lot of baseball to get to. I'm also paying tribute to my acquaintance friend, but it was a friend, Scott Miller, who passed away, the great baseball writer. I talked about that with Tim Neverett, the voice of the Dodgers, coming up as we are ready to roll, brought to you by Modelo. How honored am I to have Modelo as a partner? Are you kidding me? When they started with me, they were not. Now they are the number one beer in America. I have a bucket of Modelo's every Friday. Backyard Brick with Modelo, the entire team. Proud partner of our show. Get on in here today. It's a good day to talk sports. I say that every day on the flagship of the Raiders. All right. I tried to talk Raiders, man. It's just shut down. So if you're here for the Raiders and you want to bail, go bail because we're not doing Raiders when there's no Raiders. I wore a Raider shirt today. But geez, like pulling teeth to get freaking Raider fans to talk Raiders, man. Wow. All right, Bobby, you got Ryan Hollins. He's calling us.
Correct.
Good.
I'm going to play the Halliburton injury for rejoin.
Okay. What's going on, chat? Crush the like button, please. Yeah, Las Vegas and Seattle are getting NBA teams, no doubt about it.
Very positive, yeah.
Well, Kenny, if the Raiders is all you loved, I would bail on me for the summer or next week and come back when the season starts. Because I'm doing sports talk radio, man. I'm doing sports. I'm not killing time talking about backup cornerbacks today. Not in the mood. But you
got to keep me awake.
Yeah, I got to keep Bobby awake. I don't like to force topics on the radio. I'd rather have to do 20 minutes on an island without forcing anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just waiting on Ryan Hollins to call in.
Yep. All right. What else do we got?
I'm waiting on this gentleman.
Yep. Yes, everybody looks good today, man.
Which is great, but we also like to prevent problems before they happen, which saves you money, so you can live your life comfortably and without worry. And the way we do it is with the Savings and Maintenance Membership, or SAM plan for short. For $16 a month, you get 4 yearly visits, a 15-point cooling system tune-up, a 15-point heating system tune-up, a 65-point plumbing inspection and water heater flush, 1 diagnostic or emergency service trip for plumbing or air, 15% off repairs, and a lot more, including peace of mind all year long. Check out the long list of benefits at SierraCoolsLV.com or give us a call at 702-380-7099. License number 0078689 and 081121.
Do anything
Yep.
with the draft?
With the what?
You gonna do anything with the draft?
What drafts? The
NBA
NBA?
draft?
Yeah, well, we'll talk.
Wednesday, NHL was Friday.
Mhm. Yep. Good to see everybody there.
Labor Local 872 is modernizing the Nevada workforce and building a global
All right.
Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers.
All right. Did Ryan Hollins win an NBA title? Good question. I don't know. Let me Wikipedia that. No. He played on a lot of teams. Yep.
I'll let you know when I got him.
Yep.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Slows it down. Halliburton's hurt right away when he fell. Of course, that strained calf. He's in pain, so emotional. It's the right calf right away. He knew he was in trouble. Oh, you get in a situation like this, you're just sick to your stomach for the young man.
ABC on the call. That was the injury of Tyrese Halliburton. JT, back with you. La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village, about to have their grand reopening. Mike just went big. He took his former spot and took the property over next door to it at Tivoli Village, and you won't believe what it looks like. I've already walked it. It's incredible. Our place for a cigar, cocktails, live music 7 nights a week. It's all right there at La Casa Cigars and Lounge. Go check it out. Our next live remote will be there. We don't know exactly when, but it's coming, and we'll tell you all the details. We're waiting on Ryan Hollins. The NBA draft analyst will join us here in a little bit. Tim Neverett, the voice of the Dodgers, a little bit later on next hour. The NFL, the big story today is Aaron Rodgers spoke with Pat McAfee. So he basically made it clear that he's got 1 year left. That's it for him. I thought that was important for him because he's now out. So Rodgers confirmed on Pat McAfee earlier today that this upcoming season will be his last.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. That's why we just did a 1 year deal. Steelers didn't need to, put any extra years on that or anything. So, this was really about finishing with a lot of love and fun and peace for the career that I've had. I mean, I played 20 freaking years. It's been a long run. I've enjoyed it, and what better place to finish than in one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL with Mike Tomlin and a great group of leadership and great guys in the city that expects you to win.
Look, there's Brock Bowers on ESPN. He's at Tight End University. NFL rookie record, 112 receptions last year. 112, 1,194 yards. So you just heard Aaron Rodgers. He wants to go out peacefully with an organization that's got 6 Super Bowls and take one last shot. Now, it'll be very interesting to me if Mike Tomlin, who always makes the playoffs, doesn't, and Aaron Rodgers goes out and doesn't make the playoffs. And I think Tomlin will be fired or he'll be able to resign on his own, and Tomlin will be done with the Steelers. If you want to look at one of the all-in topics in the NFL, it's the Steelers. Mike Tomlin shouldn't have to prove to anybody that he's a great coach, but he hasn't won a playoff game in a while. And getting there is not enough for the Pittsburgh fans. It's just not enough. So when you look at what's happening with Aaron Rodgers, he wants to go out with a playoff run. They're not going to the Super Bowl. But if they get to the playoffs and they have a home game in Pittsburgh or they win a game on the road, that would be an unbelievable swan song for Aaron Rodgers. So by going on McAfee today and talking about this, I thought, I didn't see it, but we got the sound here. But then what he said, which was really interesting, is he talked about his new wife. He got married, and still nobody knows who she is. He clarified that.
It's a sick society, isn't it? It's a sick society. I lived in a public eye for 20 years. I had public relationship. How did that work out? I had people leaking my home information and making up stories that we bought a house together. I had people calling the paparazzi. I had people, posting personal life on the internet. And now, didn't want any of that. Didn't like any of that. And now I'm with somebody who's private, who doesn't want to be in the public eye. Didn't sign up to be, a celebrity, doesn't want to be a part of it. And because I do things in private because I want my personal life to be private. Now I'm somehow I'm weird, and then now the paparazzi is stalking me on the beach, trying to get a picture of her, stalking me at the workout. What is the entitlement to information that we're living in society these days, where that's like a norm? It's a norm to like be able to have athletes' addresses. They posted something that about a house I bought in Pittsburgh, and here's the inside of it, and here's where it is. What happened to common decency about security and a personal life that we now have to dive into your details of where you live and what you're doing and who you're with and who your wife is, and if you even have a wife, and if you're doing some sort of attention grabbing thing because my wife is a private person, doesn't have social media, hasn't been a public person, doesn't want to be a public person, but now that's somehow it's a weird thing. And where are we at in society where that's like the norm now, that just because I'm not selling wedding photos to the magazines or leaking personal information or making a loving post on Instagram, but look, you want to do that, that's fine. That's your own prerogative. I don't care. That's just not what I want to do. I don't want to be a part of anything. I told you, when this is all done, I'm out. You won't see me. And I know that I've chosen to be in the public eye for one more season, but my private life is staying private. And any other ridiculous story that's out there about my family that I don't talk to, they wouldn't know any information about me. Like, leave them alone. And you want to keep stalking me on the beach and getting photos of me and Apollo? Go for it.
Wow. That is an amazing soundbite. It was a little bit long, but I wanted you to hear that in context. He's basically telling everybody that after his career is over, he's gone. He's so full of crap. The guy's on McAfee every week because he wants his image and likeness to be on television every week. And he's saying he's going to go cold turkey after he's done. You're not going to be able to find him. I disagree. I think he'll do something in politics. I think he'll do something because he's a pretty engaging guy. He makes an interesting point about his wife and the fascination of the privacy of athletes. Athletes' lives should be private. Their addresses shouldn't be on the internet, their phone number. Security is an issue. There's a lot of weird people out there. Athletes should be able to protect their wives and their partners without having paparazzi stalk them. But Aaron Rodgers feeds into this, the enigma. He put out a documentary. He wants to go off the grid. He's got a documentary out there about his life and his surgery and his comeback and all that. So I root for Aaron Rodgers. Just like I root for Kevin Durant. I disagree with a lot of what they say, but they're great for content and they're great for radio. And they're very important because many people in this country look up to athletes when they shouldn't. You shouldn't look up to politicians and athletes. You should look up to your family, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, your teachers, your educators, people like that. But we live in a country now that athletes take center stage. I had a buddy who was working the Fanatics Fest. The amount of security that was in New York, Brooklyn, some of the most important athletes in the world were in one place. The amount of security was crazy because the threats to these athletes and their privacy here. So when it comes to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I wish he was a Raider a couple of years ago. I joked about it. I said I'd pick him up at the airport. We decided to go down the road to Jimmy Garoppolo instead of Aaron Rodgers, who was available. He would have been expensive, but we spent a lot of money on Jimmy Garoppolo not to play. And we spent a lot of money on a guy named Chandler Jones not to play. And we spent a lot of money on a lot of draft picks who didn't make it. Aaron Rodgers would have been, I think, not perfect for Vegas, but he would have fit Vegas great 2.5 years ago. We passed. We weren't better for passing on him. Were we worse? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. He brought Devontae there. That was a mess in general. So with all the deals that we see happening in sports, Aaron Rodgers today moved the needle more than anybody. Aaron Rodgers today basically told everybody that he's got one more year left. I am looking to embrace that one more year and make sure that we cover him because he's in the AFC where the Raiders play. And I think he's in the same boat as the Raiders and Geno Smith. I think it would be fair for me to sit here today in mid to end June and say that there's a chance Aaron Rodgers or Geno Smith are going to get the last playoff spot. Now, I'd be really, I'd be called the homer, but that's happened before, so I'm good with the Raiders. But don't you think the Raiders, if you look at the roster, of the Steelers and look at the roster of the Raiders, how big of a difference is it between the Steelers and the Raiders this year? Not a lot. Not a lot. I talked about the only rosters that I think are better than the Raiders are Baltimore, Kansas City, the Chargers, Cincinnati, but not as much as you think. I'm talking AFC, not NFC, Bobby. Thanks. Clearly Philadelphia and the Niners. The Niners in Philadelphia have great rosters. But in the AFC, I look at what Washington did when they were 4-12 and they went to the NFC Championship. Oh, and Detroit. Detroit's got an elite roster, top to bottom, when it comes to that. So when I look at what's happening here and I see some of these teams and what's going on, I wonder out loud, will the Raiders roster give them the ability to quickly be in the conversation with some of the other teams that are there? Some of the other teams that are right there. Yes, when it comes to Pittsburgh. No doubt about it when it comes to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a team that's going to come down to the last 2 weeks of the regular season trying to make it or break it in the playoffs. Because I don't think Pittsburgh, even with Aaron Rodgers, is going to be good enough to beat Baltimore. And I don't think that we're going to be in a situation where the Raiders are going to be running away from anybody. I think the Raiders are going to be chasing a wild card. And those 3 or 4 teams in that wild card hunt are going to be fascinating. Because there's always a team or two that's in the playoffs that's out of the playoffs. There's always a team that's in. They were in last year, and they're not going to be in the playoffs next year. So I don't know what that team's going to be yet. I got some time to figure it out, and we're going to figure it out. But the Steelers are a team to me that I have a feeling with Aaron Rodgers are going to play a big role with wins and losses when it comes to the Raiders. 702-365-9200. Our buddy Cisco with the Black Hole joins us. Cisco, what's happening, brother?
My man, JT, it's been a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I know there's a big Black Hole event coming up, and Lincoln Kennedy, one of my all-time favorites, is going to be a part of it.
Oh, yeah. We got Big 7-2 coming in the house. As you know, I came back home to the Bay for a while, and, we're just revamping Ricky's, bringing legendary Ricky's back to the Raider Nation.
Awesome.
And spoke to the owner there, told him what my ideas were, and he was all in. And we're going to kick it off with our summer get-down July 12th from 1 to 7 p.m. And like you mentioned, we got Big Link coming in. Going to be hanging out, signing autographs, taking pictures. Going to have great food, ice-cold Modelo's. And our old Black Hole DJ, Bumpin' Beto, will be spinning and enjoying some good music, man. So if you're in the Bay Area or you want to fly in, come on in, man. We're going to have a good time.
That's July 12th, 1 to 7 p.m. And is it still called Ricky's?
Yeah, it is called Ricky's. They just added an E, and I like it because that reminds me of my guy, Ricky Henderson. So
excellent. So that'll be a way for Raider Nation to get together on a July 12th evening from the daytime into the night. Great DJ. God, I'd do anything. And again, I'm out of town wrapping up a vacation right before that day. But just to get back into Ricky's, man, we've had so many good times there, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Dude, we sure did. Now, that's why I had to bring it back. I had to bring Raider Nation and obviously the Black Hole. Yeah, we're happy. Going to look forward to this partnership, and hopefully this will be one of many summer get-downs that we'll be doing.
Great. I will make sure I get Lincoln on it to promote it too, Cisco, and I'll continue to talk to you, and we'll catch a cigar in the next week or two. Appreciate you calling in.
Appreciate you, JT.
You got it. Cisco, checking in from the Black Hole. That's July 12th at Ricky's, the summer get-down with Raider Nation. Love that. Anything that Lincoln Kennedy's a part of, everybody should get to. 702-365-9200. As we get rolling, we want to thank our great friends at Banam Mezcal. Now it's starting to show up all throughout Las Vegas. You don't want that smoky taste? If you love mezcal, this is the smoothest you'll have. It's fantastic. Our proud partner, BNAAA, Banam Mezcal, our proud new partner on Raider Nation Radio. Ask for it by name whenever you're looking for a mezcal. Yeah, rough day today. Ryan Hollins blew us off, and Dave Coelho's trying to make that happen, so we'll see. Yeah, keep an eye on it. Coelho's following up. Yeah.
We're gonna play that Caleb Williams.
Okay. What do we got? What do we got here? Who's the guy with the all talk and no bite here? Ricky's has been open since 2023. Good. I didn't know that. Love Ricky's. Tina, everybody up there. You said Hacksaw was at 105? Okay. What shirt do I got on today? 707. I think I know this. What is the 707? 707.
I believe that's like Humboldt County.
Might be Humboldt County. What is 707 area code?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Good to hear from Cisco, man. Good brother, good friend. Solano County, Big D says. NorCal.
Yeah.
NorCal. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Fortunately, with your help, we're changing that. Partner with us, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Visit NevadaHand.org today.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple.
No, simple is Stephen, Irma, and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
All right. So forget about Ryan Hollins. That's disappointing. I really wanted to talk to him. We've been pretty good on that. Most of the guests don't blow us off, but.
So that was kind of a last minute.
Mm.
Less than a half mile from the stadium, the Tailgater features 24 beers on tap and killer happy hour specials and gaming promotions. Plus, the kitchen is cooking up everything from shareable bar bites to breakfast, flatbread pizzas, and monster-sized burgers. This is your sports viewing headquarters. The Tailgater Tavern at Russell.
Benicia Vallejo Fairfield.
Yeah. Are you looking for the best fit high school for your child? Crisco Ray St. Viator College Preparatory High School is accepting applications for the 2025-2026 school year. We offer high-quality college preparatory coursework.
It's going to be
one-on-one academic counseling.
Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears, coming back.
Okay.
We've got about 8 minutes.
Okay.
Work once a week at one of our partner companies to help pay for their tuition. So families only pay between $25 and $200.
Great donation. What's the name?
Visit us on the web to learn more and apply today.
I'm sorry, what?
Welcome back to the JT the Brick
One more
Show,
time, what's your name?
brought to you by the De Castro Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702
What was that?
222-9999.
Green Bay, I mean, they suck, but after the game, after we won at Lambeau, won at Lambeau right now. So obviously you try and do the Lambeau leap, and we actually tried to jump in the crowd where our fans were, and just, I mean, they start throwing everything at you, they push you off, and the Lambeau leap, it's a real leap. It's not it's not a little baby jump. You actually have to high jump basically. And then they're pushing you, mushing your face, and that was probably that. And then I have one today. I was actually in a car, and I got ran down for 6 blocks in the car. Yeah, that was fun.
That's Caleb Williams, the quarterback of the Bears, saying Green Bay sucks. He got baited into saying that, so the Packer fans are not as healthy and happy with that. JT, back with you as we continue on. Very, very busy day with NBA free agency right here, the NBA draft, the NBA season coming to an end. So with the NBA season coming to an end, a lot of people are wondering about Giannis, some of the other players that are going to be out there. Kevin Durant ends up in Houston, which I think is a pretty good spot for him overall. Not great, but Durant's trying to win. Give him credit for that, but he's just left so much damage at some of the other teams that he was with over the years. So we're going to see that with aging NBA players. Aging NBA players want to win one last time, and there's only a handful of teams that can win. So if you don't go to Houston, or if you don't go to, like, Miami's a team that's usually competitive, but they're not as much now. The Knicks are finally competitive. It's a good destination, but the Knicks have all their contracts pretty much locked up. The Lakers, what are the Lakers going to do with Luka Doncic? Reportedly, he's in shape. Does he have to give back all his money when he wasn't in shape? When Luka was 30 pounds overweight, does he give back? Oh, no, he doesn't. He gets to keep all that money. Now he's taking his cardio seriously. He should have a big year. But the question is, where will Giannis Antetokounmpo end up? Will he stay in Milwaukee, or will he go to another destination? Tim in Sacramento calling in. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, JT. Ray, Brian Hollins was on one of my favorite podcasts night, which is called Nightcap. And, yeah, he's the good 7-footer, productive everywhere he went. And I like Tyson Chandler as well. And I recall that you're a Knicks fan, so that's why I bring him up. And I hope you have a great rest of Tuesday.
All right, Tim, that's it. That's the best phone call I got today. No, Cisco was the best. Wow. I came in today, right, Bobby? Did I come in today, or am I sleeping and dreaming about these nightmare calls today? Did I come in? Am I awake, or am I dreaming and sleeping in Summerlin? And I'm still dreaming that I'm going to have a show today and the calls are going to be good.
Well, if I'm in your dream, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, I don't want you in my dream. So it must be reality. Must be reality here as we get going. Ryan Hollins blew us off. Unfortunate. He was supposed to be here. We put out a nice chapter of the show. We got Lee Hacksaw Hamilton coming up here at the top of the hour. Hacksaw wants to talk about this Dodger manager scuffle between the Padres. We talked about it yesterday. I'm going to stay on this again. Padres wanting a little bit more love in Southern California. The Dodgers aren't going to give them to him, and now the managers are getting after each other.
Oh, no. Tatis got hit, and Little, the rookie, spins Tatis around, and Mike Schilt is furious coming out of the dugout. Tatis is still on the ground. He lost his helmet. He's being checked on by a rise. And now Mike Schilt is barking at Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts out of the dugout. The managers are going to come face-to-face. Standing in between them is the Crucci Marvin Hudson. And Duck just bumped Mike Schilt. The dugout's clear. Mike Schilt has been barking all day. And then he yelled at Dave Roberts, and the Padres and Dodger bullpen's now empty. They gather on the warning track next to the Dodger dugout. This has been brewing all season long. And finally, the tempers are too hot.
Yeah, tempers are hot in that rivalry there. Hacksaw will talk about that as we continue on. Rivalries in baseball can be dangerous because a pitcher can throw a ball 100 miles an hour in your brain. You have a helmet to protect you, but it could still do some damage. And I just think overall, those two teams are going to have some late September unfinished business. Kind of like two hockey teams that, they're going to fight if they play each other again. That is definitely going to happen there. So the NBA season has come to an end. They continue to show the parade as I'm looking at our TV here in studio. Probably one of the most undersized crowds I've ever seen at a parade from the aerial view, but it's a small market. So they're enjoying their time as they took it from the streets of Oklahoma City, and now they're in the arena wrapping that up. We got a good night coming up of baseball. I'll get through some of the games. And last night, did anybody in Vegas go to Allegiant Stadium for the Gold Cup? The Gold Cup last night between Mexico and Costa Rica ended in a 0-0 tie. I'm pro-Allegiant. I love Allegiant. I like soccer. You've got to figure out a better way to send the fans home, not 0-0. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine in this heat driving and being a Mexico fan or a Costa Rica fan, paying those prices? And I think the tickets were priced comparable. Going into Allegiant Stadium to see a soccer game with big ramifications. The Gold Cup is a big trophy. 0-0. And when the game ended, I knew that they weren't going to extra time. I knew they weren't going to have a shootout. And as I said, is there anything worse in sports? Anything worse than a 0-0 tie in soccer? I mean, that's got to be the worst, correct? I mean, a 1-0 baseball game, you could have Bob Gibson pitching against Sandy Koufax. It could be the greatest pitching game of all time, so that's not awful. NBA games, teams score in the hundreds. Hockey games. Hockey game now, you tie, you go to a shootout. You go to a shootout after a 3-on-3 overtime, which I think is very entertaining. But how in God's name, and I know the rule, how do you end that game at Allegiant Stadium last night? 0-0. Mexico got called for an offside late, which I didn't think was offside. They would have won 1-0 in extra time. And all of those fans had to walk out of that building to their cars or walk over the bridge to Mandalay Bay. 0-0. Come on, soccer. You got to be better than this. We already suck in America at soccer when it comes to men's soccer. You cannot have that many people. That's like going to a concert at a stadium and the band doesn't show up. 0-0, Bobby, that's kind of a buzzkill.
I'll tell you, you got to be a real hardcore soccer fan to sit through 3 hours of 0-0.
Did anybody go to that? And anybody can hear my voice explain to me next hour how you suffered through all of that? 702-365-9200. Because I'll go to anything and watch sports, but I won't be able to do that. Next hour, we'll tell you about the big guaranteed contract for Travis Hunter that he got with Jacksonville. 4 years, $30 million upfront guaranteed before he played a game. Is this the way of the future? And the NFL has a little bit of a collusion story that broke today from Pablo Torre and Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. I'm trying to schedule one of them to come on the show a little bit later on in the week and talk about this issue there. So there's a lot going on. Busy day today. When we come back, hour number 2 of the show, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton will join us for a little bit. Also, Tim Neverett, the voice of the Dodgers, and a buddy of mine in the Bay Area who covers the Warriors, Cyrus Satzes, will join us a little bit later on in the show. Hour number 1 was brought to you by Astrum headsets, the headphones I'm wearing now on YouTube. We got a big discount. They already slashed the price, and they're giving you another 20% off if you use my name, JT the Brick. Go to ASTRUMtech.com and get the headphones that the DJs, radio hosts, and podcasters are all wearing. They're fantastic. Thanks, everybody. That was very uneventful, that hour. Got blown off by Ryan Hollins. The phones absolutely sucked, and I'll take the blame for that. I'd like to say I'd be better, but I'm pretty fucking good. We need to get people to be better. We'll check in. I'm a little bit chippy right now. Yeah, a little bit.